So we're going to dive across now and look at the quarterback position. We're going to start with CJ Stroud out of Ohio State. Not exactly been the greatest recruitment ground, should we say, for NFL caliber quarterbacks, but in the last year or so, maybe that's starting to turn around. We've got some hope. He's 4-star recruit, 6'3", 215 pounds. Ticks a lot of the prototypical size, arm strength, potentially intangible boxes. Jackie, are you a fan?
I am, yeah. I think if there's one guy that you look at and say he looks like an NFL quarterback, it's Stroud. He reminds me a bit of the kind of Dak Prescotts of the world, in that he's, good arm, not an elite arm, good accuracy. He's a good processor. I know people always talk about Ohio State's offense. I liked what I saw from him. I think he's a good decision maker, takes pretty good care of the football. He can decipher coverage. He's comfortable reading kind of post-snap rotations. He's also, and we all saw this in the Georgia game, and I've been saying this since last summer. Like, I watched his tape last summer, and I was like, he's a better athlete than people think. Because he wants to win from the pocket. That kind of, again, which I think is a good thing. I always am wary of prospects who can't win within structure. The ultimate example of that is Zach Wilson. And we saw what happened at the NFL level then when, you can make great plays out of structure, but if you can't win from the pocket, you've got nothing. But Stroud, sometimes you wish he would use his legs more, because we saw in that Georgia game, he can create out of structure. He has got a good arm that he can use on the move. I haven't seen it enough. Now, is that an Ohio State offense thing? Is that a Stroud thing? I'm not quite sure. The worry with me when it comes to Stroud is how he handles pressure, particularly pressure from the interior. I think that's always a red flag when you're projecting to the NFL. You're not going to get the kind of clean pockets in the NFL that you often get in college, certainly not playing behind that offensive line with, two really good tackles, a highly regarded center as well. When pressure was in his face, he looked like a different player. He just seemed to struggle. He'd rush throws. His mechanics could then just go out of the window. Lots of kind of throwing off his back foot. That is a worry, because if you're going to get drafted high, you're not going to get drafted behind a good offensive line. So there is an element of doubt, but the rest of his game just feels very well-rounded, very solid, very dependable. Like I say, looks like an NFL starter. Feels, and this is famous last words, feels fairly risk-free when compared to the other guys in this class. In my opinion, if you're going to take a guy and you just want just a good base level quarterback, I'd personally take Stroud.
Yeah, I really like Stroud. I think he does a lot of great stuff. He can make every throw. As you said, in that Georgia game, we saw the athleticism. It would be interesting to see if that gets tapped into more at the next level. Yeah, my concern, and it's basically something that I'm never going to know, because I'd want to get on a board with him and have a talk with him. I don't know how good he is at going from 1 to 2 to 3. There was far too often that I watched and I felt he'd go 1, 1. Oh, now one's open. And I don't think he progressed through reads. And a lot of that is that Ohio State have had some of the best receivers we've seen in college over the last 3 years. And he's been able to trust the guys to get open. And that's a good trait that, at the NFL level, they're not going to be able to get wide open. So you need to trust them to go and win the ball and things. But I just think that I'd want to know his processing ability in terms of progressing through multiple reads within the same play, because at times I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think the thing with that, again, like you say, it's one of those ones where the interviews are going to be so crucial for him. For, oversimplifying it here, but the thing with Ohio State's offense is there are huge amounts of option routes downfield. So we saw this with Justin Fields, right? And people say he's holding on to the ball too long. And it's like, to an extent, that's true, but it's also like you've got to wait ages to see what your guy is going to do. It's not like some offenses where the routes will be predetermined. There's lots of option concepts in there. So it's knowing, like, is he waiting because he needs to see the play develop, or is he waiting because he's just not comfortable working, across full field reads? Like you say, we saw it in flashes. We definitely saw that he can do it. I think he's okay at it, but there is that classic Ohio State question that every time a quarterback comes out of Ohio State, we're going to have this conversation. So
yeah. But I agree with you. I think in terms of, if you're looking for floor, if you're looking for something safe, from a fantasy perspective, you hope that rushing production kicks in and gives you that. But I feel like this is going to be famous last words. I feel like he's not going to bust at the NFL level.